Hi, everyone. Welcome to Relatively Sane. I hope that some of you can hear this today and really get help from what I say. I mean that because I've talked to a couple of friends recently, and the entire conversation, they were both talking about the future. Well, what's going to happen? Well, this is going to happen. Well, we're going to have no work. Well, we're going to get work in January. Well, what if we get sick? Well, what if this? What if that? And it's like, honestly, none of us know what's going to happen. We really don't. Did any of us know that this pandemic was going to happen? No. I mean, I had no idea that during this time I would lose 60 pounds and become a bodybuilder. That is such a lie. I would never become a bodybuilder, ever. I don't mind walking, but I hate running. I will never understand people that run with no headphones on or nothing. If I run, I have to be on my phone, listening to music in the background. Like, I have to have a computer around my neck or a TV. I have to be doing so many things or else I will just stop running. And I don't even know what I'm talking about because I haven't run in years. I was never like a runner. Are some of you big marathon people? You probably are. I would go out of my mind. It's just not in my bucket list. I'm trying to think of things that are. I mean, if we can ever travel again, I'm dying to go to Africa. I want to go on a safari. I've talked about this before on the podcast, but my mom went on this amazing trip. My stepbrother, Zach, got a trip to Africa, like this unbelievable 5-star trip. And she went with my stepfather, and they stayed in a glass treehouse. How amazing, like, that is unreal. Like, there were animals, they were just looking at animals. So crazy. I mean, the only way I would be disturbed by that is if I was naked and like Tarzan was in front of the window. I would feel a little uncomfortable because Tarzan seems a little like he was an assaulter and aggressive. I know he was. He really was. He was like Steve Schmidt, who I went to college with, and was a little aggressive. I'm not going to get into that, though, because this is the podcast. I'm not going to get into the past things that have happened to me. I'm laughing at what I just said. Because honestly, we all have such a past, and life is so crazy. So the point is let's just all be present as much as we can be, and try not to look into the future. Try not to look in the past. And I am completely talking out of my ass because I do this 24 hours a day. I am constantly thinking about the future, but I'm trying not to. So let's do it together. This intro has been absolutely insane. I encourage you to stay on and listen to the podcast because it's an incredible one. And I just love you all. I love your support. I love the messages you're sending me. You guys are keeping me sane during this time. And I know a lot of you have been laughing and loving the podcast. So thank you so much, and enjoy. I never laugh at the intro, but I'm laughing because of who is on today, who makes me laugh constantly. It's Marion Grodin. Say hi, Marion. I love her.
I just want people to know that this is going to be something. This is going to be a wild ride.
Marion, if you're listening to this right, not you, Marion, but if you're...
I'm not listening.
I know, I'm not either. If someone is listening to this right now, You're going to laugh so hard because everything Marion says is funny.
Woo!
I can't even that. Have you done that sound since the pandemic started? I have not made any sound like that in the past 4 months.
I know. That's why I was looking forward to this. It's an outlet.
Yes, it is.
Cathartic.
Yes, of course it is. Have you been laughing at all?
Wait, before we get to that, can you tell your audience that we just spent the last 10 minutes trying to figure out the names of both our albums because we don't know what our albums are called?
People think this stuff is a joke. It's not a joke. Marion and I don't know what anything, I have no idea what anything's called that I've made.
No. I have a track on Jessica's album called Mother Knows Best Sometimes, and it's called, and this is ridiculous, the one thing we know is ludicrous, is I Developed Early. That's
Yes.
the name. That's the name of my track.
Young.
I developed young, and I wonder why I don't get booked. What kind of a name is that for a track? I developed young. Who gives a shit?
Marion, I don't even know what my track is, and I produced the album. That's not. I have to look. I don't remember what it's called.
That's hilarious. That was so fun.
Do you know what it's called?
Your track?
Yeah.
I'm not sure you're on the album. I'm going to be honest. I mostly saw you eating a roast chicken. We were all performing, and Jessica had a roast chicken the size of a donkey. And she was eating it and giving it out to people. And this went on for hours.
I gave you half of my chicken. I did not.
It was unbelievable, with like a potato. That's what I remember before COVID. Pandemic, I remember roast chicken and a potato. That's all I know.
Potato.
Well, I wanted a potato.
It was tasty, but it was not a potato. It was like
No,
a vegetable.
you're not doing carbs.
What
You do carbs.
Now please. Every other day I'm doing something else. No, I don't eat bread or sugar. Your face right now. I don't eat. You're like, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, it's hard. We get to a certain age and, you have a cookie and your ass just goes like, whoa. It's a lot. It's not easy.
Marion.
There's sex, there's shopping, there's eating, there's sleeping. What is there?
Well,
you don't even know the name of your track, and it's your album.
Marion, you don't eat cookies, do you?
Oh my God. During the pandemic, I discovered some Dunkin' Donuts drinks. There's frozen coffee, and you get it with mocha, and it literally is like heroin being mainlined into your vagina. It's so aggressively good. You're like, oh my God, just pipe that right into my cooch. Yeah.
Do you drink it every day?
No, but they're like, do you want a straw? I'm like, no, I have my own hose. Just attach it to the thing.
You have a shovel in your car.
I have a shovel in my car. I just go, I'm trying not to drink it because those drinks are very fattening.
I know, Marion, you're very good giving up the sugar and flour and stuff like that. I mean,
I try. I don't do great. I had pad thai the other night. It was disappointing, but I think I was looking for, my father, and he wasn't in the pad thai. They were like, you want it with chicken or shrimp? I was like, I want it with daddy.
I can't take it.
Extra peanut sauce. How about extra daddy?
How's your dad too? People don't even know. Okay, so Marion's dad is Charles Grodin, the very.
Oh, I can't believe you said that.
I have to. I love him.
Don't you know I'm joking? Can you imagine if this whole interview I was like, just don't tell anyone that my father is Richard Benjamin. Just don't tell the people.
Richard Benjamin? Who's Richard Benjamin?
That's an actor, a little bit before your time. So my dad's really good friend, Regis Philbin, just died.
I saw that you posted about that. I was going to ask you about it.
I never post stuff, but it was about my dad. It wasn't, all those guys are, they're from a certain tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Like you and I are from a certain tribe. It was Phil Donahue and Regis Philbin and my dad and Letterman. And, they all live in Connecticut. They all knew each other. And it's a little bit like the end of an era.
I know. I thought that. When I saw it, I thought of you. And I thought that. Yeah.
But,
how long did you know him for? Like, did you know him when you were little?
I knew Regis when I was a baby. No, it's just the seriousness. Did you know him when you were little?
And little sounds crazy, like you were smaller or something.
Sounds like I was a little person. No, I actually
did you know?
Yeah. Did you know him before you got the surgery when you were a dwarf? Watch, you're gonna get all these people going, I can't believe that you said dwarf and midget.
Oh, they're all gonna say that. I don't care anymore.
I
Yeah,
don't.
you
It's very freeing.
you
You can't
can't.
care. You can't.
I didn't know him when I was little. I knew him when I was big, and he was just a very unusual spirit. He had an appetite for living
Hmm.
and joy and humor that was like my dad, something
Yeah.
very, very pure with those guys. I produced a bunch of fundraisers at Gotham Comedy Club, which we know and love, and Regis was front and center. And I produced a thing where my dad and Regis interviewed each other, which was hilarious.
I remember
So
that.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
And how is your dad doing?
He's good. He's good. He's actually right here. Do you mind if he joins us?
No, of course not.
Do you think I'm serious?
No. I did for a second, but
I
I
know you did.
swear.
I know
Well,
you did.
you're very good at convincing. Like, I would believe anything you say.
Can you imagine if I was like, my dad doesn't feel he's getting enough stage time and he really would like to be included in this podcast?
He doesn't like that Regis is getting all the accolades.
Yeah. He's like, I know he's dead, but you know what? I need airtime.
Airtime.
I need airtime and I need it now. Somebody just texted me. They saw my dad in an episode of Law and Order SVU,
Yeah.
where he played the head of like a rich school or whatever. But yeah, I love him, I love my dad, and those relationships are everything.
Please, I know. I know all about it. We have such similar stuff. Marion and I have been so close for so many years.
Since the beginning.
I'm not kidding. Very few people make me laugh like this woman. Obviously, I'm crying.
Yes.
You don't even have to say anything, and I start laughing.
Yes. Yes. Someone texted me, why are you so unpopular with the Chicago Police Department?
What?
And no one knew what it was. It's a line from Midnight Run.
Oh, I was like, what'd you do in Chicago? What happened? I really thought that's what you meant.
No, but it was so people love that movie Midnight Run. Then I'll get off talking about my dad, but I just, there's nobody like him.
Well, I asked how he is because
him.
Yeah, he and I connected, but I mean, you have you guys the same sense of humor, so I can't.
What are you saying? You're closer to my father than I am?
Yes, we talk every day. I wanted to tell you this on the podcast. I haven't. This is here. I'm here to tell you. Could you imagine?
This has taken an unexpected turn, and between that and not knowing the names of either of our albums, I think there is a sadness that we can't deny.
Marion, you said, I feel like it's something with the name Fatty. That's what you said about your.
Yeah, it is. It's Fatty, but I don't know what it is. Lenny Marcus knows the name of my album, but it used to be called I Just Want to Lie Down. And then I was Then I was fucking around with this friend, and he was like, Fatty Back Up or something. And I said it, and he was like, that should be the name of your album. We could not stop laughing, but I can't remember. I just know it's something with Fatty. And I think every album I do will be like the Adventures of Fatty.
Yeah, you can just use the word, even if you don't know what the first one was called. You can just keep repeating. Do you know why I'm laughing about Fatty? You're gonna crack me. This is very funny. When I went to name my special, when I went to LA to watch my special, which was torture, for me to sit in a room and watch myself. Okay.
Excruciating.
I was not okay after sitting there for everything, judging, bad.
Yeah.
I have a cyst, I have a fatty cyst on my shoulder.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Were you wearing sleeveless?
No, Marion, could you imagine me? I was in a ball.
No, but why would your cyst be exposed?
I'll tell you why.
Who chooses to do their first comedy special and features their cyst?
I didn't feature it. I tried to hide it. You're going to understand why it got accentuated.
Serious? Okay, go ahead. What were you wearing? Like a gown?
I went for you're going to laugh at how this happened. I went for a massage. Yeah. She's like, well, now I have to do an Asian accent if someone cancels me.
Do it. Too bad. Too bad.
Oh, you have a major cyst, some kind of bump on shoulder. I was like, what? It's like, you have fatty cyst. This is the first time I go fatty. I fat on my fat. I already have a fat.
Oh my!
And I have fat.
You have like a condominium of fat.
Yeah, I have fat on my fat. I have a fat cyst on my fat. So I went to the doctor and
That's
it's big.
amazing.
It's big. It's like the size of a golf ball, bigger than a golf ball. And he's like, you don't have.
Were you worried when she first said it that it was a tumor?
Of course, I always still think I'm dying, and I have them everywhere.
Right. My balance is a little off, and I'm sure it's like I'll make it till the end of this session, and that's about it.
Session.
Not even kidding.
It's not.
Yeah, I get up to go to the bathroom, and I like fall into a wall, and I'm not even drinking. I'm sober like 31 years, and I swear to God, like I slurred my speech I was like, what is happening to me? I think I'd had too much frozen coffee. But I was talking to someone, and all of a sudden I had a very pronounced lisp.
Marion, did you eat Taco Bell in a blackout?
You want to know something? I had Taco Bell, and later that night I had to be somewhere, and I was going to drive, but I just used the propulsion coming out of my ass to just get me there. Yeah.
You mean you didn't need the
I
engine?
thought I would drive, but instead, say it again? I didn't need the car. I had an engine in my ass. I had literally, as Ted Alexandro used to say, they don't call it number 2 for no reason.
You know, my favorite Ted Alexandro story, I've told you this years ago, was when he
tell me, I love him.
Florida and the woman's head was down the whole time. I just told this on a podcast recently, and looked like she was sleeping. He saw just the top of this old woman's head.
Right.
With like, empty, just like empty.
Like bald patches?
Yeah, bald patches. And she all of a sudden in the middle of the show, he was not doing well. She looked up with this face and she goes, "You're all over the place. You're all over the place."
That's phenomenal.
Yeah,
I would almost pay to be heckled like that.
Me too. And have it on video.
Tell the story about when your apartment on the Upper West Side of Manhattan was underwater and you called who you thought was the building manager to complain about it. But it wasn't the building manager.
Oh my God.
Oh God, I want you to.
I cannot believe you just remembered that. I have not thought of that since that happened.
Do you remember it?
Yeah, I think I need you to tell it. But let me tell you really quick. I went to edit my special, and every time I turned around to talk to myself and bent over, I saw that fatty surface of the Spanx and my bra. It cut off the area, and it looked
like it was talking to you.
Oh, it was pronounced. It was a pronounced, and then I said, I want to
see. I would think that this was looking at me saying, "You're not good enough."
It was, and I said, I got to call the special back fat, because that's all I could see was back fat.
Oh,
so
is that what it's called?
No, they said no. It's so funny, but we're gonna call it talking to myself. But isn't that funny? I was gonna call my special back fat.
Oh, that is the name of your album. I think my album is called Back Fat.
If it is, I'll love it. We have to find
Fatty.
Fatty, back.
It's not. Okay, so here's the story.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Here's the story. So Jessica's living on the Upper West Side, and her apartment is flooded. She's in a basement apartment, and it's flooded, and literally like a notebook is floating by. Like it's not good. So she calls the building manager, and she says, "Listen, before you can get a word in," she just launches into it. She says, "Listen, I can't live like this. Things are floating. Everything's wet. This is not a way for a person to live. God. I can't live like this. I need you to get me into another apartment now." And the guy says, "Jessica, I'm not sure who you think you're calling, but this is the owner of Sane's, and I can't help you with your apartment." She had called like a comedy club person to complain about her floating notebook.
I called Roger Paul.
He said, "This is Roger Paul." And she was like, "I need an apartment. I want out. This is not a way for a human to," Jessica, Jessica, yeah, this is Roger Paul. I can't.
Comedy book.
I could book you in Nova Scotia, but I can't help you with your flooding.
I think he still owes me $60 from 1984.
I think that he owes me a pair of black socks. He
Marion,
wears little black socks with shorts.
you're the best person in my life to tell stories. What's the one of the worst gigs you ever did? It doesn't have to be the worst.
I
Just
knew we were
one.
going to do this, so
Anything.
when I was pretty new. I was under a year, which in comedy is very new.
Yes.
And I had a show at the Duplex that Jessica would come down and do, Christopher Street and 7th Avenue South, the Duplex. And Joan Rivers had played there. It was and we got a room there. Me and Becky Donahue, very funny comedian Becky Donahue.
So much fun.
And I hadn't really been on stage that much, and I was just finding sort of what I do, which is improv. But I was just discovering that I wasn't really somebody who loved the written bit. I more love to play, a lot like the brilliance of what Jess does. So I'm up there and I'm like riffing and it's going well. And then there's a woman sitting in front of me. She was like Puerto Rican with a little pillbox purse and a little homosexual that was dressed like the pillbox purse. They were both red velvet. And I'm not even making this up. He was like the personification purse. So I'm talking to her and I'm just beginning to understand this art of like what do you do, and playing with the audience. So I'm new to it and she's giving me nothing.
Yeah.
And so I say, are you married? It's just in the toilet.
Anything.
It's just nothing. Give me, tell me your vagina's itchy. Tell me anything. She says,
Okay,
finally, she looks at me. Yeah. I would have been like, I would have burst into tears of joy.
Yeah.
So finally she looks at me and she literally has not spoken. And the whole audience is like, it's like, what is happening? And she looks at me and she says, why are you talking to me? I said, what? She said, why are you talking to me? You don't have no jokes? What I had to bring the jokes? That's your job. Why don't you have no jokes? And plus your clothes is wrinkly.
Okay.
Your clothes is wrinkly and you don't have any jokes.
Clothes is wrinkly.
I started to cry. Not perceptibly, but I was beginning to cry.
I've been there.
Because I didn't have any jokes. And my clothes was wrinkly. So I got off stage and I was starting to cry. And Becky was like, do you have your period? And I was like, it's coming. And she was like, I think you're very emotional. That wasn't nice, but I think you're having a disproportionate reaction to what just happened. I said, I don't feel it's disproportionate. And then we got into a little thing.
You did?
And it was horrible. Well, not really.
No, I know.
We didn't get it.
Best show ever. If we could do that now, how amazing would that be?
It was amazing. And we had amazing people like Judy Gold and Ted Alexandro, and Jesse would come down, and Karen Bergreen and Bernadette Pauley, Danny Cohen, Jodie Wasserman. Everyone. It was amazing. But that, in terms of telling a story about bombing, that was so helpful because now you could say anything to me. Once you, like, I remember Bernie Mac, the brilliant comedian Bernie Mac, being interviewed about bombing. And the interviewer was like, have you ever bombed? And he was like, he was like, if you don't bomb, you're not even a comedian. So It was good for me to just learn that it could go left. Like, just assume it will go left. And then they don't have it up on you.
That's so true.
Tell yours, because I love some of your stories.
Well, you like the story I just told. I've told this so many times. When all these people came in Florida, it was one of the worst. It was horrific. Same thing, 20 minutes. Anyone
tell it again.
Well, they all got at 2:00 p.m. for an 8:00 show. Like, it's insane. They're anxious. Where are we going to
seriously?
You shit over there. No, I can't shit over there. Like, it's just. I can't shit on the end sheet? Why not? I don't want to shit on the end sheet. Like you're just listening to this. You know, it's so funny. It's so angry. They're hostile, but it's loving.
Right.
Right?
It's really angry.
And that's the generation.
Like, what are you so fucking angry about?
That's the generation.
Like, all you're doing is coming to a show to laugh and you're enraged.
I don't. What? Who has to sit there?
And inevitably somebody yells out, "Is there Sanka?"
Yes.
Somebody always wants Sanka in that group. Sanka. Do they have Sanka?
I don't know why I have the jitters. I only had a Sanka. So
the jitters.
And I'm in a bad space and they're screaming and yelling and I'm waiting for hours back. You know, you have to get the, you do all the, that's another thing I want to say. If anyone wants to do a Zoom show, Marion and I are available to go to your backyard. If you have the two of us, it will be a killer show. We will drive.
And we will custom make it. We will custom make it for whatever the event is. You give us the information. You tell us, Mindy loves that, and then we tailor make it for you.
And we can do it on Zoom or in your backyard. I mean that because a lot of people that are listening to this would put on a private event, and we'll do it because we
travel. We will travel. Jessica appears in a hazmat suit, but aside from that, she's very appealing.
Hazmat suit.
No, but really, we'll go anywhere.
We'll travel. The two of us will drive hours. I'm not kidding. I'm putting it out there. Someone will hire. This.
Hire us. We need the work.
And find her album Fatty Something on Sirius and then download it from iTunes on the album she's on. The Mother's Milk.
I think it's on Sirius XM.
It is. And it's on iTunes.
On the She's So Funny channel. But the other thing is we need the work, but people need laughs right now, desperately.
Yes, desperately. And having the two of us would be amazing. And we need to do stand-up. We need to travel.
And I need to say this, not to talk money, but you're going to get a better deal now because it's a little bit of an unusual situation. You try to book us in the regular time, you're paying at least $150.
Now you could give us $11 and a potato pancake.
At this point, a piece of kugel and a nickel, and we'll kill it.
I love when you say kugel.
I know.
It's like
Just give us like a platter of gefilte fish and a Barbara Streisand box set, and we're yours.
Box set. So I show, and everyone was like, "It was fine." It was one of those things where everyone tells you it's fine, and you're like, "That was not okay."
Did they heckle you while you were performing?
And half the crowd walked out. I'm not.
It's the worst.
They were very slow. You know what I'm saying? It takes them a while to get out of the seat. Like, they get up and lose a leg, then watch one more minute of my stand-up. Thank you so much to all of my Patreon members for supporting the podcast.
All right, hold up. Could you take a little off the P's? You're hitting them too hard. Not action.
Thank you so much to all of my Patreon members for supporting the podcast.
Hold on. Now you're whispering Patreon. Is there a reason you're whispering?
Well, you said to take the p.
Somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
You ready? Action.
Thank you so much to all of my Patreon members.
Now you got to pause.
For those of you who don't know, Patreon members, is that okay?
It was perfect. Why'd you stop?
Oh, okay. Patreon members.
Cut. Let's go back to the beginning.
Thank you
And action.
Thank you so much to all my Patreon members for supporting the podcast. For those of you who don't know, Patreon members get early access to the podcast, ad-free episodes, and access to monthly live streams where we talk more about...
All right, let's take it back to the beginning. That was perfect. Do it exactly like that.
I just did it well, though, but why are you starting over? Thank you so much to all of my patron...
Cut. Why are you screaming?
Because I'm just trying to get through this.
Action.
Thank you so much to all of
Action.
Thank you so much to all of my Patreon members. For those of you who don't know, Patreon members get early access to the podcast.
Perfect. Keep going.
There's so many P's.
Keep going.
Ad-free episodes.
You could cut this out, right?
For those of you who don't know, Patreon members get early access to the podcast, ad-free episodes, and access to monthly live streams where we talk more about being relatively sane.
Hold up. Did we agree on monthly live streams?
Yes, you told me I should do them because it'll get more members.
I don't know how to do a monthly live stream.
Don't you just talk in your phone?
We'll figure it out. Come on, let's get through this. We have to go. We should speed this up.
All right. Thank you so much to all my Patreon members for supporting this podcast. For those of you who don't know, Patreon members get early access to the podcast, ad-free episodes, and access to monthly live streams. We don't know what that is, but whatever, where we talk about being relatively sane. If you want to join our fantastic community that is so corny, go to patreon.com/Jessica Kirson. That's patreon.com/Jessica Kirson. That's Patreon.
I think you said patriot.com.
Go to patreon.com/Jessica Kirson. That's patreon.com/Jessica Kirson. Patreon.com/Jessica Kirson. Thanks again.
And cut. That's a wrap.
Ugh.
Okay, so I have an amazing story that just happened. So right before COVID, I got this gig on Fisher Island, which is like the richest zip code on the planet. It's this private island in Florida. This woman had hired me years ago, Ala Barish. She's European. It's not clear where she's from, but she has an accent. She's very beautiful. She has amazing skin, and she only eats seeds. So I'm not even making this up.
Eat seeds?
Yeah. Like you go, they have restaurants on the island, and everyone's getting like asabuco and a veal chop, and she gets a bowl of seeds. Yeah. So she hires me for this they're all incredibly wealthy, right?
I've been there. My aunt, the Rosenbaums live there. You know, my mom's friends, Barbara and Mike Rosenbaum. Yeah, so go on.
Rosenbaums live there.
No, you know that you met them. You don't remember, but you've met them.
I believe you. Yeah. Oh, and then you have to tell the story about how your mother tried to give me my own shirt. So I fly out, and first of all, and you know, if this sets the tone, nobody comes to get me. I just arrive. I arrive on this island. There's no text. There's nothing. And I'm like, did I get the date wrong? What?
Ship. You have to get on a boat.
I swam. I couldn't afford the ferry. I swam to the gig. You take an Uber to a thing. You get on a boat. Then you go in a golf cart. It's like you don't know where you could be in like India. You don't even know what's happening. So I'm there and no text. Finally, she texts me, I'm in a meeting.
I'm in a meeting.
And I'm like, I just took a boat. I'm in a meeting. So they position me. They send me to like a little restaurant thing, and I'm there. And I have a binge. I'm binging because I'm in this little restaurant thing, and they have this amazing chocolate ice cream thing. And I had like 4 of them.
I know literally exactly where you're talking about and the ice cream. It's amazing.
It's amazing. It's like a fudge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and you have nothing to do, and you feel like shit because nobody has greeted you. So finally, after literally 3 or 4 hours, I get a text, come now.
Are you kidding me?
No, horrible. Come now. So there's no cart for me. I say to one of the guys working on the island, can you take me over to the mansion? Like there's just nothing in place for me.
Well, there's no cars. No.
What?
Right? There's no cars.
There's no cars on the island.
Right.
So I'm in a golf cart and I go there. I walk in, it is a giant white room that looks like the kind of room in a movie where everybody's died and gone to heaven. Like it's all white. The table's white, the people are white, the walls are white, the carpet's white, it's all white. So, and what this is a mixer for very wealthy people to tell each other how to get wealthier.
That is so fucking funny, and you're right. That is exactly
that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're there to go, I invested in Schmuckaku. Oh my God, Schmuckaku, I got to get a piece of that. So I walk in and it's a long table of people and I have a very bad feeling.
Yeah.
I just, when you're like, this is not going to go well. So I start my set. It's very intimidating. And I start a bit where I go, I was a fat little Jew. That's the beginning line. And this woman who's like a little fatty herself,
yeah,
to my right, says something. And I, being the neurotic I am, I go, what'd you just say?
Yep. We're alike.
And she goes, what?
Yeah.
And I said, I heard you. You said something.
Because you're the help. You're the help.
Right. I'm the janitor.
You are.
So I say, the line was, I was a fat little Jew. And what she had said was, you still are.
You know what? So much hate just went over my body. I don't know.
What is wrong with people? Like, I had just flown there and taken a boat, and I said, why would you? And now I'm fucked up. I can't even pretend.
That's mean.
I'm sleep deprived.
Yeah.
I'm sweating. I'm probably in velvet, and so I'm always in velvet. And so I turned to her and I go, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
I said, what is wrong with you? Why would you attack me? And she said, because you're not funny.
Yeah, they're mean. They're mean.
And I said, what? And she said, you come in here. And so it was clearly like, you're in our house.
Yep.
You come in here and you're making fun of people. And I don't find it funny.
Yeah, you're the cleaning lady. Right.
Right. Yeah. And I said, well, this is what I got hired to do. And then I did something I've never done. I turned to the long judgmental table and I said, if you guys are okay with what I'm doing, you need to let me know. Because if you're not, I'll change direction. But who's okay with what I'm doing? And the entire crowd applauded.
Yeah.
I felt
comedy that, these people do know old school comedy like Borscht Belt and all that shit, but it's her issues with herself. This is always, I don't understand it.
It's so mean. So then I tried to get back in and I couldn't.
Yeah.
I was so fucked up inside. I was off. I was stumbling over bits, which is the worst feeling.
Worse.
And the whole time I'm talking, her husband, who's, makes fucking Bigfoot look like a catch. Her husband has got a knife in his hand and he's tapping the glass really loudly while I'm talking.
Marion, thank God I wasn't there.
Horrible.
I would have when I'm telling you right now, you throw something at me. It's better than what you're describing.
I know. I know. So I said, listen, that's it. Thank you. And I walked outside and a couple of very codependent Jews came. They were like, you were fabulous. What's wrong with her? We don't like her, blah, blah, blah. And I just, what? Say it again.
I wonder if it was the Rosenbaums.
I don't know who it was, but they were like, you were great. We're so sorry. And I just wanted to get my check and get out of there.
That's the worst part. You don't even have the money yet.
So there are angels everywhere because there was a photographer there. And she saw the whole thing. And I was like, I'm taking an Uber once we get off the boat. She goes, no, I'll drive you. And, angels everywhere. She was like, that woman was horrendous. She was a heinous human being. And you were terrific because I really you take a trip.
Take a trip. First of all, that kind of stuff, I have had that happen to me so many times where I snap. It's like, if you talk to me like that, it brings up so much shit in my head. It it triggers me and I will snap. And like you did, I don't even get scream. I get calm, but it's crazy. I get in my head, I get crazy. I want to kill them. Meanwhile,
what was your worst one?
I've had a lot of that kind of stuff. You're just not, or you have the light, wrap it up, that kind of stuff where I have flipped out on people, completely flipped out. There was a woman once at the Metropolitan Room, the old Gotham Comedy Club, that was just going like this to me.
So awful.
Face, and I was like, are you a therapist? Because it reminded me of a therapist thing, because my mom, not that but I felt like she was analyzing me. And I said, are you a therapist? And she goes, yes, why? I'm analyzing you right now. I said, I knew you were. I knew you were a fucking therapist. And she's
what a pig.
That's not funny. I said, I went crazy on her.
She said, you're just not funny?
Yes. Was shaking her head the whole time. That was one of the worst. I flipped out. I called her.
Wait, Jess, did she say you're just not funny?
You're just not funny. I'm not understanding. You obviously have issues.
my God. This is the only profession where you get critique during it.
Who does that?
Imagine looking up at a surgeon and being like, I don't think you're holding that scalpel right.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Yeah. Telling someone how, and they don't realize how angry some of us are. So
Right.
then they play the victim. This is my favorite. They say something mean-spirited and then they play the victim. And
Always.
I go, when people do that, I'm like, oh, you're the victim now? After
Right.
you were abusive to me. Now you're looking for everyone to feel sorry for you. Like, it makes me crazy.
I have a term for that because there are a lot of people that do that, and it's like quintessentially passive aggressive. I call it victim bully.
That's very true. Very.
It's like, and we know someone like that.
Yes. What you're talking about.
What do you?
Yes, I think so. I mean, I can't say it, but I'll say it after.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know we're both trying to give each other a clue without being revealing.
Well, was that person in the hospital in the past 6 months?
They sure were.
Okay. This sounds,
You know, it's like, poor me, let me beat the shit out of you.
that's very common. If any of you are like that, stop. You got to work on it. That's really, but see, people don't even realize how abusive they are because they're in the victim role. They don't even get it, right?
Well, it's funny because I was talking to someone at the pool. I'm in Teaneck and we have a pool. It's great, about therapy and how all these people that think they don't need to be in therapy, they're the sickest ones out there. Because they don't, it's an unexamined life. They don't look at themselves.
I know people who have never been to therapy.
I don't trust it.
Up.
I know.
I'm sorry.
I know.
I've never been to therapy, but it really helps. It really, Marion, that's why this podcast, we talk about anxiety and depression a lot. Not always, but excuse me, if there's anyone that's done this podcast that works on themselves, it's you. It's like, people love the Gary Goldman episode, people who talk freely about their stuff and
Sure.
what they've done. I mean, you take action more than anyone I know. What
Thank you.
But what do you think gives you the drive to do, because it's easy, but it's not. It's a lot. You have to take action every
It's work.
right.
You know what it is? It's really pragmatic. I don't want to be miserable. And if I don't do certain things to take care of my anxiety, depression, catastrophic thinking, anxiety is a big one, then I'm going to suffer. So it's not like it's that I'm so evolved. It's really practical. It's like I'm sober a long time. I know if I go to a meeting, I feel better. I know if I call other people, I feel better. I know if I exercise, I feel better. If I walk, I just don't want to be, I'm going to be 60, which I can't even believe. And I know it's crazy, in October. And, a lot of my life is behind me, which is crazy to even think about, but that's the truth. Mm-hmm. And I want to be, as we say in program, I want to be as happy, joyous, and free as I can be.
You know what's interesting though? When you said that, I'm like, what made you want to be happy? Like I get off on feeling shitty. Like I don't want to feel shitty, but I'm definitely like I say this, I know there's things I can do to feel better, and I purposely don't do them a lot. Like something must have gotten you to that point years ago.
Here's what I want to ask you. Why are you punishing yourself?
No, it's horrible. I don't. Honestly, I think at this point, it's more about just making a decision to do the things to make myself happy, because it becomes this shtick. How do I explain it? It's like,
I know what you mean.
Familiar to feel angst and shitty, so it's scary.
I think also, and tell me if I'm wrong, if I'm getting too personal, okay, but I think that I wonder if you feel guilty about having abundance. I
do, 100%.
I know you do.
Yeah, I'm sure years ago we talked about that.
And so because you'll have great stuff going on, mm-hmm, and your headline, as Phil Donahue used to say, what do you lead with, will be the misery.
Yeah.
And I think that I wonder often if it's just not comfortable for you to have nice things and good things. I mean, I have huge issues with that from where I come from. And I work very hard on, like, yeah, I deserve nice things. Everybody does. It's not just me or you. Everybody does.
And to feel good, like even to
Well,
go.
that's what I don't mean nice things physically. I mean feel good. I mean nice things like peace of mind, wellness, connection. I've laughed more since I've been sober than I've ever laughed in my life. And I just cherish it so much. I'm my father's daughter. Like, we both, our favorite thing is to hang out and laugh. It's still like that for him.
I mean, look how I've been laughing during this podcast. I also want to put out there that Marion also does one-on-one work and coaching, if that's okay for me to say that, because I mean, no one that I know does more work on a daily basis. And you've been sober, I mean, 31 years?
Yeah, so this December 3rd, it'll be 32 years. And just to say, I coach comics and writers. I also sober coach. I just coach. I coach basketball. I coach tennis. I coach swim. No, I don't coach anything athletic, but I do sober coach.
Yes, she's a sober coach, and she does also help with writing, and I've even Marion's helped me with my writing, and I'm getting stuff together to give her. You really do a bunch of different things. And
you know who I worked with that I had an amazing experience with, who's such a great comic that we both love, Yamanika Saunders. So I worked with her on her last hour.
I didn't know,
and it was
you there, but I didn't know you guys worked together on material.
No, that's why I was there. I was completely collaborative with her on that, and it was so anyone that doesn't know Yamanika Saunders, look her up. She's so funny. But we worked great together, and we got her to like a whole next level. So that was awesome.
I'm doing it with you. I'm organizing.
Okay, good.
My material. Then that's why.
Yeah, that's the first thing. The first thing is just organize it, and then I'll come to you and work with you. That's what I did with her, and we did a few sessions, and other people that were there, I'm trying to think, Pat Brown and a whole bunch of other people were like, wow, like we see the difference.
I heard from people. Like, I didn't know that it was you, but I did hear that it was just, her stuff was great on that.
So tight. We threw out a lot and we changed some stuff, and it's like anyone. It's like, I had the same therapist for a lifetime, and I never thought I could leave her. And now I have a younger male sober therapist. I would never have thought in a million years that would be for me. It's amazing because it's a whole new set of eyes.
That's so true. Yeah. That's so interesting. It really is. You get stuck in a pattern, and what's familiar. See,
there's a lot of comfort in the familiar, even if it's killing you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, with my stand up, for sure, I need to do that because I need someone else who's like really smart to look at it and help me organize.
We all do. It's amazing. My dad, my training in this was since I was a little kid. When I was little, my dad would give me scripts and go, tell me what you think. So I've been doing that for a long time.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah, when I think about like how I grew up and stuff with him that I just took for granted because that was all I knew. It was pretty amazing.
I'm sure everyone who grows up with a parent who's a celebrity or a brother or sister, whoever, it's part of your life. Like, you don't even probably think.
People used to say to me, what's it like? And I was like, what does your father do? And people would be like, he's a plumber. And I'd be like, well, what is that like? It's what you know.
Right. Yeah, it's so true.
You know how to unclog a toilet. I know how to sob for an hour.
Do you miss doing stand-up a lot?
I can't even tell you. Huge loss. Huge loss. I think that, first of all, when you kill on stage, as you know so well, and at the level that you kill at, it's a drug. It's cathartic. It takes care of you. It's therapeutic. But it's also kind of really on a primal level, just very validating of who you are.
Very. And
so I think I do. I have a live gig Saturday night.
Good.
Outside. And I'm excited. It feels like emotional to me that we would even be doing that. But yeah, how did you find Zoom? I hate it.
The way I did Zoom is the way that you would do it and like it, whereas I do crowd work. I look in the boxes and I talk to people in the audience, which is the only fun way for me to do it.
Okay,
And you would love doing that.
that's right.
I did a crowd work show. I'm going to produce one. I absolutely have you on it. I want to get Big J on it if we'll do it. People who do, that's what they do.
So funny.
So funny. It's so much funnier than just going,
Yep.
hey everyone, like into a Zoom thing.
Right.
If you can look and be like,
Right.
George, nice shoes. Like, could you please just change your that kind of shit? You would have a blast.
Awesome that you did that. Yeah. No, that's awesome. So yeah, I do miss it.
Yeah. It's
What?
I said we have to find, I guess, ways of doing it where it works for us.
Have you done live since this?
I've done a couple of outdoor shows and it was better than the Zoom. But I was a wreck. I'm nervous. It's nerve-wracking because I'm not doing it. So it's like I feel
Right.
like what we were just I feel like it's the duplex. It's crazy. I feel like I'm starting out kind of.
I know. I know. I think I'm going to feel some of that on Saturday night, just you get up so much and I get up a lot. You get up more than I do, but you're a well-oiled machine.
Not now. Thank you.
And you don't even
No.
about it. No, but during
Yeah.
during regular times. But I just want to say, as I know we're sort of winding down, Jessica it almost makes me want to cry. She's so fucking good. Jessica is so loose and wild and smart and just so damn funny. There's nobody like her.
Thank you. I say the exact same.
Waiting for you seem to be waiting for more. Were you waiting for?
Yeah, I was
was it?
hoping it would go on for like 6 minutes, but it's fine. It's fine if you need to end it there. Marion, what's above you? Is that a wreath?
Yeah, it's a yellow wreath. Isn't it pretty?
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah. No, I love my room. I have Christmas lights and I have paintings.
You're so great. So you put that around you,
You're so great.
don't you? Don't you put you like you're that kind of a person where you'll put colors and
When I go out, I actually put the wreath on, and I say to people, "Be happy, joyous, and free." If you're going to do anything, be happy, joyous, and free. I hope we get a gig out of this.
Marion, let me say something about you. Marion,
Yeah.
you
Yes.
just made me laugh so hard. I needed to laugh. You are brilliantly funny and beautiful. Everyone loves being around you. Everyone loves watching you perform. You really listen to me. If you're listening to this, download Fatty Something. Marion, listen to Marion's tracks on Sirius, on iTunes, all this stuff. I'm not kidding about the coaching thing. If you're looking for comedy or writing coaching, right? Anything. You do all that. You work with people.
Sobriety, anything.
Yes. Another thing is a sober coach, life coach kind of thing, which is Marion has done more work than anyone I know. So if you're struggling, looking for that, you can absolutely tell people where they can reach you so that they can get in touch with you.
I'm just going to give my email, okay? Because it's fine.
Yeah.
What?
They have my email. I mean, people have access to my email. I get messages a lot.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. So it's my name, Marion Grodin, Grodin comic, COMIC @gmail.com, Marion Grodin comic @gmail.com. And I would love to hear from people. I think during this time, the more connection and interaction you can have, the better your state of mind.
Yes, and if you forgot the name, or if you think about it a week from now and you can't, whatever, send me a message and I'll get you Marion's email.
You're very sweet.
Well, I've never even done that on the podcast, but I know you can help so many people, and we all
So sweet, Jess.
Oh, I love you so much, Mar. I wish you were over.
I love you so much. I'm gonna come over. I want to come over. Can we do that?
Yes, of course.
All right, I love it.
Not that far. We don't live. We're like an hour.
Oh, I'd come in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
You wrap the kids in saran wrap though, right? And just poke out holes for their eyes and nose.
Yeah, of course. Well, that's how they are now. Even when they're not around people, they're wrapped in saran wrap.
You can't distinguish if it's them or if it's like a fudge roll.
It's a caterpillar.
Don't eat the kids by mistake.
Oh, Marion, you'll die from my kids. They're so silly. They're nuts.
I love it. I know they are. I can't wait.
Crazy.
I can't wait.
I love you so much. Keep in touch with
I love you too.
Marion Grodin comic at gmail.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, .com. I'm telling you, we have such a dynamic. Before we go, really quick, please tell the shirt story we forgot, and then we'll get off.
All right. So Jessica and I are at her house, her mom's house, the house where she grew up in
South Orange,
New Jersey. And there's a bunch of clothes on the bed. They're everywhere. There are clothes everywhere because Jessica is trying to figure out what to give to Goodwill. So everywhere you look, there's like a jumper from like 1982. There's like a little shirt that says Bebe. Like there's stuff that she's not wearing now. So there's like a lot of stuff is bedazzled. So her mother, who is amazing, but kind of on her own wavelength, walks into the room and we're chatting and she's sorting through the clothes. And finally she picks up a shirt and she goes, Marion, this would be fantastic for you. And I said, that's my shirt. She tried to give me my own shirt. I was wearing something else I was trying on, and her mother was over the moon excited about giving me like a turtleneck that I had arrived in.
She picked it up and she goes, oh, this one is going to... Oh, Marion, try this one on. It'll look great on you. You're like, I came in that shirt.
That's how I arrived.
We laughed so hard.
Your mother is such a cookie. Her mother's... Okay, wait. Can we tell one quick more? You have to tell the story of when the dog shit on the lawn.
I did that in my special.
Oh, my God.
The time I ever got drunk. My friends were outside smoking. One of my friends peed on the lawn. I'm saying it very...
Her mother was away.
My mom was away. It was during the day. It was the first time I ever got drunk. I drank like 2 six-packs. That's not a joke. I did. I think I drank 12 beers. And I said, I have to shit. And they're like, shit on the lawn. All my friends were and I did. I was in a black, I don't even remember doing it, but I shit on my mother's lawn and they were hysterically laughing, my friends.
This is a really good neighborhood.
Yeah, it's a beautiful neighborhood in Jersey. It was outside on the front lawn. 2:00 on a Saturday.
And it was a big one.
Oh yeah, it was a load. So the next morning, I'm laying on my floor. I couldn't even get up. I couldn't
Right.
my head. It was hard. I was never that sick. I got so sick, and I hear knocking on my door, and I'm like, oh my God, she found a beer bottle, I had a breakdown. I was like 14 years old, and I opened the door, and she's holding the dog by the collar, and she's like, come outside. I told you not to let the dog shit in front of the house, and my dog's nose in my shit. That's a true story. And the
dog was looking at you like, you bitch.
Yeah, and I don't eat Dorito. Like he was like, this isn't mine.
Yeah.
Tashi and
he's like, I've never been a corn lover. I love you, Jessie.
I love you more. I love you so much. Everyone, get in touch with Marion. I'm going to start working with her. You'll see I'm going to come out with new material because if I don't, I'm going to have no act. I
can help you with that too. You don't have to do that on your own.
No, that I'm going to do with you.
Yeah, great.
Everything. I've already been doing it.
Good.
And I love you. Thank you so much for doing the podcast.
It flew by. It was a total treat.
You're the best.
You're the best. Love you. Bye, honey.